Each and every one of us has an unlimited inner wellspring of spiritual power. You have the ability to transform, create, and heal anything upon which you set your heart and mind. Join me, Sarah Hall, as we learn how to uplift all aspects of your life through spiritual empowerment. Enjoy weekly guided meditations, spiritual discussions on a multitude of topics, and a chance to call in to receive channeled messages from the angels on your spiritual journey. I'm Sarah Hall, and this is Through the Eyes of the Angels.
Hi guys, happy Winter Solstice, and I'm wishing very happy holidays to all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am so excited to be connecting with you live on the actual date of Winter Solstice this year. Yay! So this is such a magical day for the collective energy in nature, and it's one of my favorite days of the whole year. Winter solstice is, of course, the shortest and darkest day of the year, where summer solstice is the longest day of the year. And throughout cultures unnumbered, even over ancient human histories, we have celebrated and created rituals around the solstice to welcome in the light. And even though the winter solstice is a bit of a dark, cold, and bleak kind of day, I have always felt so much magic around this day, especially if you spend some of the day communing with nature. And I really love the winter. It brings such a beautifully introspective energy with it. I live in Michigan, where it does get very cold and snowy, and I'm surrounded by forests, so this is such a beautiful place to spend the winter. I love the cleansing stillness of being surrounded by ice and snow and big frozen lakes. The energy of snow is so healing and cleansing, but in order to receive its benefits, you really have to make friends with it. I know there's many of us who struggle with things like seasonal affective disorder, or who just plain resist the winter time because they don't like being cooped up with less sunlight around them. But if you spend time connecting directly with nature during the winter, I think that you may learn to love it like I do. And just last week, I was out in the woods during a big snowstorm that we were having, and it brought me to such a state of wonder to feel the energy in the woods. The world was so quiet, so peaceful, and beautiful. And it's incredible to me how the snow creates more quiet in the world. Even if you were to walk out into a parking lot near like a busy road, everything will be quieter while it's snowing because the snow changes the way that sound travels. There is a soft, calming stillness that falls over the whole world. And that stillness is so incredibly valuable to us, especially in our modern world where our nervous systems tend to be rather overstimulated. So, in my opinion, snowy days are a good day to call off your plans, maybe stay home from work or whatever you have going on, and just surrender to nature. Get quiet, get still, and let your soul drink in the purifying beauty of this time. The snow and ice are so good at capturing and reflecting the light too. So even though we have less sunlight in the winter, the millions of beautiful frozen water crystals around you are capturing the light and reflecting it to give the world a little glow. I especially love to wander outside at night in the wintertime because the snow loves to reflect the moonlight, giving the nighttime a soft, kind of silvery lighting that's just so magical. So if you live somewhere where it's cold right now, try making friends with it. Our wise human spirits, minds, and bodies are so good at cycling with nature, and the earth will always give you exactly the support you need if you tune in and flow with it. Aside from being sure to spend plenty of time outdoors during the winter, I also like to cycle with the season by sleeping and resting just a little bit more. This is a very good thing for you to do healthfully at this time of year. And I also like to eat more root vegetables in my diet during this time of year. You see, much of the elemental spiritual energy of nature retreats downwards under the soil during the winter months. So root vegetables tend to feel extra warming and comforting at this time of year because part of you is kind of connecting with the energy of under the soil, what's underground. You can connect with all of that life. So make yourself a cup of ginger tea or maybe some sweet potato soup and spend more time in and just rest and reflect. So one of the traditions of the Great Lakes region Native Americans, the Anishinaabe, also sometimes known as the Ojibwe or the Chippewa, was to spend the winter telling stories. The winter is storytelling season for the Ojibwe. So all the children would gather into the homes of the tribe's elder and listen to the grandmothers, great-grandmothers telling stories that would have been passed down for generations upon generations. And the longer a story had been passed down, the more valuable it was thought to be by the community. Today, we're going to do just that. We are going to spend some time telling solstice stories to warm our hearts and our spirits. And in ancient times, the winter solstice was actually New Year's Eve. So Happy New Year, you guys. Because at the end of the winter solstice, the daylight hours would begin to lengthen, as we know, and this was considered a new beginning. So in one of the ancient stories that comes to us from Norse mythology, the goddess Frigga gave birth on the night of the winter solstice. She was the goddess of the sky who sat at her spindle weaving the destiny of man and gods alike, and was the goddess associated with the beginning of each new year. The night of the winter solstice is also called the Mother's Night in Northern Europe because the goddess Frigga labored to give birth to her son Balder, who was so beautiful and radiant that he became the sun god. This Norse god of light was celebrated at winter solstice and at summer solstice, and people would honor his life, death, and resurrection by watching the sun rise and set. And throughout the world, the gods and goddesses of light were typically born during the winter solstice, bringing hope and a promise of the return of the warmth and the light of the sun. And one of the most commonly celebrated stories of today is that of Jesus' birth. Now, whether or not Jesus was actually born on the winter solstice doesn't necessarily matter so much as the significance of his story carrying on the tradition of these ancient cultures. 1,000 years ago, giving Jesus a story that was familiar to people helped them to relate to his teachings. And so the sun god became the son of God and light. And that light that he brought became the incredible love of his teachings that we know. And I think that this is so fitting because Jesus and other enlightened masters like him really do symbolize the dawn of spiritual light in the collective human heart. Jesus was truly a miracle healer and teacher because of his immense capacity to love. God is love. And if we make a home of love in our hearts, we too can perform everyday miracles with it. There is a Vipassana meditation teacher and channeler named Barbara Brodsky who channels an ascended master named Aaron. Well, in one of Aaron's lifetimes, he was named Nathaniel, and he was a friend of Jesus. Barbara channeled the stories of Nathaniel's perspective on Jesus and the experiences that he had with Jesus and put them into a book called 47 Stories of Jesus You Probably Never Heard. And you can buy this book or even find out more about Barbara and her teachings if you're interested at www.deepspring.org. So I wanted to share some of the stories that we have from the teachings of Aaron, And you'll notice as we're telling these stories that Jesus' name is pronounced Yeshua in these stories, because that is how it would have been pronounced in his Hebrew heritage. His name became Jesus, or Yezu, when his life teachings were adopted by Rome, and they needed to Latinize his name to make it more familiar and less foreign sounding. So you'll hear Yeshua and you'll know who we're talking about. So let us begin. He is spoken of as the Christ, but he never named himself as being the exclusive Christ, only that he came as an expression of that Christ consciousness, and to remind you that the same consciousness is within each of you. There are many stories written about his life, both biblical accounts and other accounts handed down from one age to the next. Sometimes the accounts were seen to be contradictory, so some of the accounts led you to put him up on a pedestal and think of him as being the exclusive expression of Christ energy. But in my experience, the strongest focus of his work was to remind each of you, you are also divine consciousness. You are awakened, radiant, and beautiful spirit. Just as he could live his divinity, so could each of you live it. It's a very different way of thinking, not to hold him up on a pedestal and think, someday I will also have that higher level of consciousness and be able to do the good in the world that he did. But rather, today I have that higher level of consciousness, and I have the choice in each moment to bring forth that consciousness or not to bring it forth. In my times with him, this freedom to choose is something he constantly taught, not in verbal articulation so much as by his actions. Once, when a small group of us were passing through a dark, isolated place on the road, brigands leaped out upon us from the dark. Nobody asked who we were or cared who we were. Just a small band of travelers, that's all we were to them. They had sticks and clubs and made as if to beat us. I was afraid and I was angry. I looked at Yeshua beside me, just curious to see how he was reacting to this. And his face was sad but serene. There was no anger to be seen on his face. A man moved to hit him with a club. He simply looked into this man's eyes with so much compassion and said, "Why do you wish to hit me?" The man paused, stepped back, then said, "Give me your robe." He had already taken the beast of burden that was carrying some of our goods. We didn't have much with us, but the small burro was carrying a few extra blankets and a bit of food. "Why do you wish to hit me?" Just a simple, clear question. Not asked as a challenge, not stated in any way that said, "You are evil to wish to hit me." Just, "Why do you wish to hit me?" I immediately saw that he was awakening not one, but many with that question. For the several of us who were with him were reminded by that small act of our own ability to respond with compassion, and that we had the choice to respond with fear or anger, as fear was prompting us to do, or to come into this deeper place, a place of divinity, of clarity, and to respond with compassion. But also, the one who was about to hit him was reminded that he also had within himself the divine expression of love, and that he could choose to enact that divine expression or not. The one Yeshua addressed, the one brandishing the club, was the leader of the group. He took one look at the power of compassion in Yeshua's eyes and simply turned to his companions and said, "Let us leave them be." They did take the burro, but they left us alone and they simply departed. It is very powerful to remember, always I have a choice between fear and love, I have a choice to enact the base human passions of fear, anger, and greed that do arise in the human, or I may choose to be aware of them arising and not act them out, to be aware of that which is loving and clear and which is always present, aware of that higher consciousness. What a beautiful story. I really love that. It's just so inspiring. And here's another one. This one I really love. There were only 3 of us traveling with Yeshua. We were walking in an arid area. We had water and a small bit of food with us. We also had some cloth that we could use as a shelter from the hot midday sun. In that area, at that time of year, too much exposure to the sun could kill a man. There were also no dwellings nearby in which to take shelter. Suddenly, we were attacked by bandits. They did not know who Yeshua was. They took our shelter cloth, our cloaks, our food, and all but one small jug of water. To leave us completely waterless would be akin to murder. We walked on after they left, but it became clear that we had to shelter ourselves from the sun. We literally burrowed under the sand as best we could. We actually managed to sleep a little. When we awoke, it was late afternoon. We were so thirsty that we could barely talk. We knew that we might need to walk through the night to reach a dwelling for some food and water. It would be an arduous walk. We passed what little water we had around, and we each took a sip. Then we began to walk. In an hour or so, of all surprises in this harsh terrain, we found a she-goat who had just given birth by a small cluster of shrubs. She must have wandered from a flock and then become lost. Her infant was nudged up close to her and nursing. Miraculously, the mother did have milk, but she herself must have suffered terribly from thirst. Most men in our situation would have killed the goat, drank the blood, and eaten its meat, or killed the baby and taken the mother's milk. Jesus looked at the goat, and he looked at us. He did not ask us to give the goat our remaining water. He simply looked at the jug and said, "I wish to give it my share of the water." We knew him well enough to know that he was not pushing us to follow, that he would not think less of us if we did not also give. And we also knew him well enough to know that he was not promising that we would survive the night without water. Yes, he could have miraculously brought us more water, but the question was not to survive. It was to learn and to have faith. If we could offer this selfless gift, we would express the abundance of the universe. Whether we lived or died was quite secondary. It was clear that what was necessary was to support this life. And there was simply no question in his mind that this is what had to be done. So we gave the goat all of our water, and it revived a bit. One of us carried the kid, and another helped the goat to stand, and alternately it walked and we carried it. It was this conviction in Yeshua that was so powerful for me. To offer himself freely in whatever way he could to wherever there was suffering, to hold nothing back and to trust God. It was his absolute love and faith that spoke so deeply to my own fear. No words he could have said, no lecture he could have offered would have taught me as did his living example. I had to go through the experience to see how it felt to let go of fear. I knew at some level that if water did not appear, he was not going to save us. And that may sound cruel, but the lesson was that it is safe to give everything regardless of the consequences. As an aside, as we manifest, we understand that there will be consequences to our actions. but we also understand increasingly that we have the power to affect those consequences. And that if we choose to live, it's not somebody else that saves us. It's our own free will choice. We were in a situation that asked truly unconditional giving and directly challenged us to reveal our deepest fear. We knew that we would probably come to a village by morning, but we would be hard pressed to make it. I don't think Jesus would have asked us to give the water if it had meant certain death for ourselves, but he did not say that. He did not even ask it of us. He just gave us his example, and in our hearts, we were led to follow. And as an aside, we came to water, not a village actually, but a small spring that we had not expected to find. I cannot sufficiently express my gratitude to the Creator for the opportunity I was given in that lifetime to occasionally walk by the side of Yeshua and to learn so much from him. True giving is from the heart, not the mind. Investigate yourself as you offer a gift to anyone for any reason. Is it given with true joy and a sense of love for the recipient? Or is it given with some sense of fear and wondering what you will get back? Always offer yourself love in the presence of any fear that you may have. Work with loving kindness. Acknowledge the desire to be safe within yourself, and then you can acknowledge that same desire in others. Wasn't that a beautiful story, you guys? I've actually been there live in person when Barbara was channeling Aaron's stories as Nathaniel. And let me tell you that the energy was always so amazing. You could actually feel it in the room when Aaron would come through Barbara. There was this big, expansive feeling as the energy field changed and he would speak to the room. So here are some more wise words channeled from the Ascended Master Aaron that I think are so fitting with our theme for today. All of us have come into this incarnation with the intention to live from higher consciousness, to awaken to higher consciousness and remember, this is who I am. Everything else has been a dream. It is like awakening from a sleep in which there were volatile dreams. Coming into awakeness and seeing a beautiful morning out your window, feeling warm and comfortable in your bed, body free of pain and the sun shining through the window. The fear of the dream is gone. There's a deep sense of peace, and all the chaos of the confusion of the dream departs. You recognize immediately, this was just a dream. You don't have to go back into the dream and try to fix anything in it. It was just an illusion. Sometimes the body is still trembling from the energy of the dream. You ground yourself, coming back into the room with the sunlight. Perhaps your beloved companion sleeping beside you or your cat curled up next to your face, finding yourself at peace. You awaken again and again into higher consciousness, knowing without a doubt, this is who I am. The mind may think of those times in the dream when you have either been the aggressor chasing after somebody or the victim being chased. But there is certainty. It's just a dream. The whole idea that you must carry fear and negative energy, that you must live through the ego self, is an illusion. You have come into the incarnation that you're in to let go of illusion. You enter open-heartedly into the illusion and then transcend it. This work is especially vital right now because the earth is in transition into a higher consciousness. And all of you here have come into your incarnation with the intention to support this transition to higher consciousness in the world and to open more deeply to it in the self. Whenever I was with Yeshua and experienced fear, anger, or greed, becoming temporarily lost in the ego and its stories. He never led me to feel judgment from him or judgment from myself for myself. His invitation was always to look at what was arising in me. And right there in that arising of contracted energy, to find that which was uncontracted. There was a time when I came to him just after my beloved wife had died in childbirth. I was grieving deeply, feeling enormous pain in my heart. On the way to where he was, I had an accident, fell over a ravine and broke my leg. My son Mark, who was with me, splinted the leg. We were traveling by foot, but we found a burro that I could ride. So I came to him in great pain, of the body and of the heart. I had intended a short visit, just a day or two. The newborn was at home with a trusted sibling, and I had left other children at home with various relatives. The family had encouraged me, Yeshua is near. Go and see him. He will help you to move through your grief. And then came the broken leg. So I said to him, Yeshua, I have 2 days only. I must return home and I cannot travel this way. The leg is swollen and painful. Fix it for me. He just shook his head and said, No, I cannot fix it. You can invite healing. Just let it be. I was angry at him. You have this ability. Why will you not use it? Just rest, he replied. He came to see me several times a day, sometimes put his hand on the leg where it was broken. He talked with me, heard my grief and my anger. I was left with my oldest son Mark, who was perhaps 10, and several younger children down to this newborn infant. But my beloved's life's companion was gone. Why? It wasn't fair. So he talked to me. He helped me first to open my heart to my personal grief. Second, more deeply, to remember that everything is impermanent, that we cannot hold on to anything in this mortal life. Third, he helped me to remember that nothing is ever lost, even while it is impermanent. She was no longer with me, not in the physical aspect, and yet I had her children. I had my memories. I had my love for her. Nothing is ever lost. He helped me to find that within me which was strong, courageous, and loving, and which could go forth without being bitter and without fear, knowing that I could raise these children with love. I could give them the memory of their mother, the stories about her beauty, to help them to know her and remember her, a strong, loving, beautiful woman. It took a month for the leg to become strong, faster than it might to take such a break to heal. So in some ways, he was supporting the healing, but I understand that if I had clung to my bitterness and fear, the healing would not have been so fast or quite as thorough. Sitting with him and literally feeling my divinity, feeling the power in me of wholeness and love, I sent that energy to the leg. If the heart is whole, the leg is also whole. Right there with the broken leg is that which is whole. Right there with the broken heart is that which is whole. It became the perfect metaphor. As the leg healed, the heart healed. And so in a month's time, I was standing on the leg, ready to walk and ready to go home to my children, free of grief. I was able to support their lives with love, to support my own life with love. What I see looking back is he did not fix me, he empowered me. He helped me to recognize my own divinity, power, and love. This, my brothers and sisters of light, is what all of you are here to learn, and to do in this incarnation. You have all experienced some part of yourself as broken. Perhaps not the broken leg or even the broken heart, but the sense of inadequacy, unworthiness, confusion, lack of power, or helplessness. You've all experienced that. You are all here to remember who you are, and that these sensations are felt, but do not define you. I returned home whole, able to raise my children and able to continue the work of my community that I had felt I could no longer do, for in that lifetime I was both the shepherd and the Essene teacher, and my congregation were those of the shepherds with whom I communed on the hillsides, passing to them this message of their divinity. But at that time, when I was so deep in grief and fear, so lost in the illusion, how could I communicate divinity to anyone? So now I was ready to return home and to my work. You are all at that same point, healing your figurative broken legs and broken hearts, becoming increasingly ready to go back out into the world and spread this message of love, of the divine Christ who is born how many thousand times a minute all over the world. This divine spirit that keeps coming into the world in countless bodies and locations, each bringing the power of love and the potential of love into the world. The earth is at a crucial place right now. I do not offer predictions, not ever, so this is not a prediction. There is simply a possibility of a path of enormous healing and growth in geometric progression, expanding enormously, or of movement into increasing negativity, fear, and contraction. You might say there's always this fork in the road, and yet it is perhaps more pronounced today. More pronounced because the time is coming for which so many of you have been preparing for lifetimes, to make that strong affirmation, I am a divine, radiant being, and I choose love. I choose to co-create a world of love. This is the Eden that has been promised. How blessed you are to be here, to bring it forth. It is why you took birth. I find these stories so amazing, and it's one of my personal Christmas traditions actually to read them at this time of year. So again, if you would like the book 47 Stories of Jesus You Probably Have Never Heard, you can buy that book and find out more information on Barbara and her teachings at www.deepspring.org. It's so amazing to contemplate the level of light, love, and miraculous divine power that the human species is capable of. Remember that this power is forever inside you, and you are always free, no matter your circumstances, to reach out to it and embody it. I'd like to share one more story from a different wise ascended master, the Buddha. This story again really demonstrates that power of love in overcoming fear. So here it is. Journeying to Kosala, the Buddha was warned not to pass through a certain forest. For here, in the deep recesses of the jungle, was the den of a famous robber chief, Angulimala. He was the terror of the whole countryside, for he lived by plundering unwary travelers and had committed many murders. He feared no one, and from the very palace of the king, the cries of his victims had been heard many a time. All attempts to capture this desperate man had failed, so he continued his ravages unpunished. The people of Kosala now besought the Buddha not to expose himself to the dangers of the robber's territory. But Gautama knew no fear, and heedless of all warnings, he made his way straight to the den of the robber. Angulimala, enraged at this boldness, determined to slay the intruder. But when he saw the Buddha, calm and self-possessed, and heard his words of kindness, The robber hesitated. His arm, uplifted to kill, hung helplessly by his side, and his wrath cooled like the embers of a dying fire. As the Buddha reasoned with him, he changed his purpose and, before long, had confessed all his sins and declared his faith in the doctrine. When the people saw the new disciple following his master, they were amazed and could scarcely believe that this was the same man who had been the terror of their land for so many years. Angulimala became a monk and was renowned for his holiness. So this story is quite similar to those that we saw today of Jesus, in that the pure, unwavering presence of love and faith in the Buddha was able to calm and overcome the immense fear and anger of another man. It was often said that when Jesus walked into a village, his energy field alone would shift everyone into a higher state of love and openness. Buddha was the same way. And you have the power to do this in your own way too. Bring your love and kindness with you wherever you go, and you might find that you light up the room with greater peace. Even the smallest acts of love or the simplest intentions you hold to be loving can make the greatest difference in the world around you. And I truly believe that human beings can be in a state of enlightenment and transcendental love, not because it just hits you like lightning, but because some part of you chooses it. You don't have to be a perfect human being in order to share light and love that can change the world. You just have to be open and willing to let divine love in and practice it. You practice holding space for this love by choosing to offer love and faith to all thoughts of fear that come across your mind. You can embody heaven on earth today by choosing to. So I thought it would be nice for us to practice embodying love together now in a guided meditation. So go ahead and relax if you are in a space where you can do so. And then as soon as you are ready, you can close your eyes and take in a long, gentle, deep breath. As you breathe, allow calm, rest, and peace to flow through your body. Feel that you are floating in a divine spiritual space of pure, beautiful light. Breathe this light in, allowing it to cleanse your mind of all previous heaviness, worry, tension, or fear. Feel the past dissolving, the future fading, and the present moment shining with your pure awareness. Simply rest and resonate in this beautiful space. See and feel a group of your angels now surrounding you. Allow them to lift you up together, carrying you into the divine realm of the spirit world. The angels have a beautiful gift to give you today, as they are carrying you to the tree of life. Notice the form of a great and beautiful tree taking shape in the light before you. Let your angels carry you here, gently placing you down at the base of this tree. As you sit at the base of this tree of life, feel all of your energy aligning with the tree. Every one of your chakras is merging as one with the chakras of the tree. You can feel yourself collecting light from above as the tree does through its leaves and branches, and then generating and rooting that light below you into the earth. Spend just a moment breathing in this manner, connecting with this powerful system of light and allowing it to adjust and heal you. The tree of life is an expression of constant support and giving, just as Mother Earth always gives and supports you. So too does this tree, this beautiful energy form, this expression of nurturing, giving energy. Take a moment to set a healing intention, asking the universe for what it is you want, for whatever state of being you need to enter into a greater experience of light and love in all areas of life. And now, with your next deep healing breath, pull in the energy of the universe through the top of your head, through the tree's branches, letting the light move into your being. Feel yourself receiving, noticing that your heart is now burning bright with a flame of eternal white light. In this divine healing state, take a deep breath and gently think the following thought. I am the embodiment of divine love. I choose love in response to all seeming obstacles. And I am one with the mind of God. Your angels are now lifting you up once again, tenderly holding you in their beloved arms, nurturing you with hope, inspiration, and joy. And as they carry you back into the here and now, back into the moment, you're able to bring back with you this memory of your divine heritage, this knowledge of who you are in truth. Breathe that in as you feel all of your awareness collecting back into your physical body, the angels placing you right into the here and now and helping you to ground, Take several deep breaths, feeling your presence flowing right in through the top of your head and down your spine. Breathe your presence into your heart, feeling your wishes and dreams granted as you receive through the heart chakra. With your next deep breath, gather the light and energy of your presence into your heart. And then you can gently exhale, feeling your presence flowing right down to the bottom of your spine, through the legs, through the feet, letting the toes and the fingers come alive. With one last deep breath, you may gently open your eyes and gently shift right back into the room. Thank you for joining me in that meditation. I really love to feel all of you connecting in that beautiful energy that we spread into the world together. And I could feel your angels communicating that a lot of you were praying for others. A lot of you were sending love to other people, and that's such a wonderful thing, such a wonderful intention to hold in our sacred space together. So thank you for that. And now I would love to hear from all of you. So go ahead and call into the show at 240-979-6366. That's 240-979-6366. You can also text that number to request your reading or submit a question in the chat room at bringmetolife.com. That's BRINGME, the number 2, life, LIFE.com, where you will see a little chat bubble that you can click, or you can post your request on the Bring Me to Life Facebook page. So the card decks that we are going to be working with today are the Keepers of the Light Oracle cards and the Ascended Master Oracle cards, because I thought that would keep so well in with our theme of connecting with these wise Ascended Masters, including Jesus and Buddha, and gaining their perspective, gaining the inspiration and love. So as we are waiting to see if anybody would like to submit a question today, as usual, we'll go ahead and do a group reading, and know that this is for everybody listening. When I shuffle these cards, I hold the intention to let the angels and guides bring through exactly what we need to hear today for everyone to have their highest experience of peace, whether you're listening live or whether you're listening on rebroadcast. So let's go ahead and turn over the cards and see what we have for today. And I pulled 2 from the Keepers of the Light and 1 from the Ascended Masters deck. So the first card that we have for our group reading is Dwalkul, Dharma Unfolding. All right. So this is a really great card to get because it's telling you to take your life one step at a time. One step at a time. So that means that there is a path unfolding before you. You're on a journey. Life is a process of healing. And sometimes as human beings, we can feel so impatient because we want everything, to be culminating now. We want what we want right now. But the angel's message today, and what we're getting from the Ascended Masters as well, is to remember, just take it one baby step at a time. One good deed at a time, one act of love, one thought or intention of love at a time has what it takes to allow you to unfold and to become the change or the light that you really want to see in this world. And of course also to attract and to then receive the blessings and the love that you wish for in life as well. So it's a process, it's a journey. Enjoy the journey. Oh, I love this. I just turned over our second card. And our second card of the day is the Master Buddha card. Master Buddha. So that's a really fun synchronicity since we just told our Buddha story. So this card is the Increased Awareness card. Increased Awareness. So essentially what this is telling us is that you are in a process right now in which you are heading towards a higher consciousness. I'm hearing the angels actually add in that there are some of you who are going to be receiving heightened intuition at this time in your life. And that there are some of you that are even kind of receiving that or praying for that right now around the winter solstice, which is a really good time to connect with spiritual energy, because it's one of those times where the veil sometimes feels thin. It's so easy to go within. It's so easy to connect with the power of nature. So know that you are receiving some of the energy that you need, but remember that it takes your willingness, your cooperation, and your choices and action steps to make that happen. So there is a deep connection that you have to the divine. You find that from within, and it is safe to trust your inner voice. It is safe to trust the inner wisdom that comes through when you connect with your heart. I love the storyboard that we kind of have going on so far, and let's go ahead and see what our third card is. This one is from the Ascended Masters deck. And the Ascended Master who came through is Angus. Angus is a Celtic Ascended Master, and the card is the Twin Flame card. Twin Flame. So Twin Flame is another word for soulmate. Soulmates are people with whom you have a contract to connect with in this lifetime, and usually a purpose behind that contract, such that you are meant to connect with them to help one another catalyze learning and growth on your spiritual path. This is a card essentially saying that through your path, through the spiritual work that you're working on right now, you're attracting a soulmate, and that there's something that's shifting your relationship. So watch the way that the divine guidance you get leads you to a shift in relationships, new levels in your relationships. Awesome. So it looks as if we have a caller on, and we're just going to go over to the phones now and invite our caller on. Hello, caller. Thank you for calling in today. What is your name, and where are you calling from today?
Hi, my name's Lori, and I'm calling from North Carolina.
Hi, Lori. Thanks for calling in today.
Oh, you're welcome. So great to talk to you.
Well,
I love all your meditations and stuff.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you have any questions or reading requests today?
Yes, I just moved to North Carolina 6 months ago, and I was kind of wondering if you could give me any information about that, or, you know, I'm kind of having a hard time with it, so I was wondering if you could shed some light on that.
Yes, let's go ahead and ask your angels to come in and show us. One of your angels is saying, yes, it feels as if there's a little bit of a slow start, and feeling as if things really, really click in this area for you. And one of those things has to do with connection to people. They're saying that it will be really, really wonderful to put a little bit more intention, manifesting or praying around connecting with new people in the area that you're in. I feel that because the people that are already grounded there in the community feel as if they'll help you to become more grounded there as well, and that things would take off just a little bit more easily for you as you do that. Your angels are also saying spiritual gifts, and that this is a place where you have the ability to offer your spiritual gifts and to learn. So that's really good. And I've just turned over a couple of cards for you as well, getting a little bit more detail from your guides. And the first card is the positive change card. Positive change. So first of all, I'm hearing one of your guides say it was a positive change to move to North Carolina in the first place. So trust that. If there's any thoughts that come through your head that think regretfully about it or anything like that, know that it is a positive change. And that there is positive stuff that is coming. They're saying that in a matter of time, we see some things that start to turn over and move for you. Particularly, it feels around career. Have you been praying for something to change or uplift around career or work-related stuff lately? Yes, I have. Yes. That kind of feels like one of the areas that they're sort of zooming in on for us to help you to know that, yes, there's a change coming in, there's a breakthrough, or there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and there's something good that's coming in with all of this. Particularly, I see it coming through someone, a positive person. I'm seeing somebody male who feels as if they have a lot of energy, a lot of visionary, inspired kind of energy, and they kind of want to bring you on. I'm feeling some partnering going on with anything creative that you would be doing. And then your second card is Go Now. So I really like this card. This is a card that usually tells us that action. It's time for action. So this card is a card usually about stepping out of your comfort zone and really putting yourself out there. specifically, this is interesting because as I'm asking them, where do they want you to put yourself out there? I'm feeling you in communities or in, community groups and that sort of thing. But in that space, there's a lot of creativity and spiritual energy at the same time. In fact, a very specific image that I'm getting is somebody who is painting or creating, and then there's other people that are maybe talking, and there are spiritually minded people around. So if you are able to find maybe any community events or centers or anything like that where you get to just do creative stuff with people or connect at a spiritual level, that feels really good. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I've been missing, because I had that where I moved from, and I'm having a hard time finding that here right now. So that's what I'm looking for.
Yes. It feels as if there's plenty of that where you live. It's like the angels are saying they are giving you the message that you will find that for a reason, and that these groups and these, connections exist. So go now. It says reach out and find these individuals, find the groups, do a little sleuth detective searching to see what kind of events are going on near you, and just show up and be part of it. Say hello. Again, it might be feeling outside the comfort zone, but you'll feel really good. I'm also seeing a couple people who are practicing Reiki who are really good at energy healing, and I'm seeing Reiki trades. So if you know of any little events or community areas where people are doing Reiki exchanges or energy healing exchanges, this is another great way to meet people, I feel, for you, and there are good friends to be made.
That's funny you said that, because that's what I want to get into, and so that's what I'm looking for, actually.
Oh my gosh, yay! So, oh my gosh, that's so funny, because there's in that first card, we're talking about career changes and stuff like that. And then they're more focusing on the social connections, but those two are linked for you. So, make those connections, because there's somebody that will help give you a leg up in that area, and it'll feel really good. Your final card is the Choose Peace card from Paramahansa Yogananda. I love this card because it shows us that, again, there's spiritual blessings that come to you right now on this path, as you simply choose to accept life as it is. So breathe, accept, and be in your life right where it is right now, and the peace comes in. Realizations start to come in there. So, everything will be all right.
That's good to know. Yeah, I've been having a hard time with it, so that's really good to know.
Good, wonderful, my dear.
I moved to help my mother, who's aging, so it was a big move that I didn't really want to do, but I kind of felt I had to do it. So,
yes, this is really just where you need to be right now. So, just enjoy all of the blessings. There's something about this that helps to shape the rest of your path in a way that it feels like you'll be very, very grateful for in the end. So, yes, enjoy it.
Okay, and I do miss the snow, like you were saying at the beginning, because I moved from Columbus, Ohio. We have the snowy winters, and I do miss that.
Well, come back and visit this area when you need to get your dose of snow and, all of that in.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Lori. It was beautiful to connect with you, and I'm going to be sending you prayers and angels to help you to guide this path.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah. I really appreciate it. And happy holidays.
You too.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, guys. So it looks like we have someone who put in a request for a general reading. So this is for Cheryl. And we will go ahead and pull some cards for you, Cheryl. Thank you so much for calling. Right away, I'm already feeling some energy around you, Cheryl, and it's a deep indigo and purple colored energy. Your angels are saying that you are a really masterful communicator, and that part of your life purpose is in self-expression and communicating, being a voice for people around you. So know that, and that is a big part of what you will be guided to do. It feels like coming into 2018. They're showing us a lot of third eye opening, and they're saying trust your intuition, trust the vision that you are getting, and they want you to know that you're really, really highly capable of receiving through your third eye, receiving knowledge and messages, just as we all are. But some of us, might have a little bit of an edge in that area because maybe we've practiced it in previous lives, or we're really putting a lot of intention around being able to receive through the third eye. So that's really good for you, Cheryl. let's turn over the cards that I pulled. I pulled a couple, again, from the Keepers of the Light and one last one from the Ascended Masters. And your first card is from Lady Portia, and it's the Divine Order card. Divine Order. What I'm really feeling is this sense of strong instinct in you, and they're saying now is the time to trust your instincts more than ever before. Really listen to the strong feelings and inspirations that you are getting, and do not spend time or energy on things that you do not resonate with. If there's a little doubt in you, it's just don't do it. It's kind of what we're getting, because your energy is very precious. And your guides and angels are looking to protect your precious, sensitive, open energy. So listen to your instincts. Everything's working out in divine order. And divine order kind of speaks to you and steers you through the instincts and feelings that you get, those little inner intuitive nudges. Everything's working out in the right timing. Now, the second card is from, this is a real tongue twister name, Cernunnos. And the card is the Life Force card. Life Force. This is a card all about creativity and strong driving passions that we feel in our lives. What a theme that we're getting. This message is all about your life purpose, Cheryl. So it's telling us that the greatest burning passions and desires and inspirations that you have been repeatedly getting are your life purpose, and these are the very things that you are meant to succeed in, that you're meant to spend your life's work on. So don't second guess yourself, or spend more time working on plan B than maybe plan A, where your truest dreams are. Follow your truest dreams. You have all the creativity, the power, and the support from the universe that you need in order to do that. So again, there's a lot of listen to your feelings, listen to your instincts, follow the messages that you keep receiving. This is a really good time for you. And then your third and final card from the Ascended Masters deck is from Kuthumi, and it's the Stay Focused card. Stay focused. So this is a card that's telling us something really interesting. It's saying that it's important for you to be, again, very discerning with the environments and the things that you spend your time doing. Just as we saw from the first card, you want to listen to your instincts and don't do things where you feel a little bit of doubt or like, I don't want to do it. And the reason why is because you are being guided to protect your energy levels right now, and basically to protect your consciousness, protect the amount of focus that you have to give to the creative work and the passions that you want to be spending your time doing. So in order to be the mover and shaker and communicator and leader that you feel that you want to be, protect your environment, protect your time and your energy, and just stay focused. And again, slow and steady wins the race. Just like we saw in our group reading when we saw that Dharma unfolding card, remember, it's a process. Life is a process, and each of us are being called to take those little baby step-by-step tasks that will help us to build the final results over the new year. So thank you for your request, Cheryl. And oh my goodness, it looks like we're already at the end of our time today, you guys. So thank you so much for listening. Remember that I will be live every month on Bring Me to Life Network, bringing you spiritual discussions and, of course, angel messages. And you can mark your calendars for Thursday, January 18th, 2018 at 12:30 p.m. Eastern for our next show on manifestation for the new year. We'll talk about some of the energies coming in 2018 and the things that we can do to be our best, to live our best life through that year. All of my podcasts are recorded and available to listen to on iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, at Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker.com. And on the app for Android, Stitcher. That's Stitcher. I will be posting the YouTube links for the podcast on my social media pages if you'd like to listen in again or share with a friend. And you can go to my YouTube page and you'll see a playlist for all the Through the Eyes of the Angels episodes that Bring Me to Life Network has posted. And you can connect with me on Facebook at facebook.com/SarahHall1111, or you can follow me on Twitter at Seraphim, that's SERRAPHIM 444, that's SERRAPHIM 444, or follow me on Instagram at SarahHall444. If you'd like to connect with me for a private reading, spiritual coaching, or healing session, or you can get a holiday gift card for your loved one for them to receive a session, you can visit my website for that at www.sarahhall.com, or click the schedule appointment button if you want to make sure that you'll see the gift certificate option on sarahhall.com if you want that. Stay tuned and follow the Bring Me to Life network at www.bringmetolife.com for more inspiring talk radio, music, and more. Happy holidays to you all, and I wish a very, very happy, love-filled new year to you too. Bye, guys.